This is my recap of Ink Masters Season 4, Episode 2, Bug Out. So this entire episode is testing the idea of dimension, that the tattoo has a visual depth to it. We see that in both the Flash Challenge and the main challenge. So the Flash Challenge, they were either given a tarantula or a scorpion, and they had to take their own reference photo and then tattoo it on a body. So the best way to take the reference photo is to pick up the animal and put it on skin, and then get the photo from the exact angle you want with all the shadows, because the shadows are what are going to make the tattoo look like it's really coming up off the skin. And what surprised me was the number of artists who were really vocal about their hatred of bugs. So I guess because they've spent so much energy, time and energy, really showing kind of trying to out badass each other the whole time, I was surprised at how willing they were to admit that they are scared of bugs. Now the biggest thing that came out of this challenge was an incident with Ashley. So she didn't do so well in the challenge, and everyone afterwards is sitting talking about how they think they did, and she just out of nowhere, or so the editing shows, just was like, oh, do we want to talk about how awful I am? And just goes on and on about how, she just wants more time and just to get easier. And that's when Kyle's like, whoa, it is not going to get easier. Now, he's the one who returned from last season, and sometimes when contestants come back onto a show for additional time, they have a tendency to kind of have this superior attitude that they know more. But this time he is 150% right. It does not get easier. The challenges get harder. The judges expect more from you. You're away from your family, and the longer you're away from your family and friends and home life, the harder it gets. So it is not going to be getting easier. And she did not like to hear that and just got angrier and angrier and eventually, stormed off. Now the next day, she's talking to the other two female tattoo artists, and she's saying how, oh, you know how us girls are, we just cry, and we do this, and we do that, and they were not having it, so, and I wasn't either. I don't appreciate, if that's how she is, fine, but don't lump me in with your bad behavior. If she cries, that's fine, but don't start making it into this whole, all women do this. No one enjoys being thrown into your stereotype because of your bad behavior. So that did not fly real well, but so now we're seeing her kind of get worked up a few times. So heading into the elimination challenge, Halo won. So Halo gets to assign the human canvases. So they announced the challenge, which is human eyeballs with really stressing depth, and as well as the fact that a human eyeball needs to have a perfectly round iris and a perfectly round pupil, and they both need to be centered around the same point. So an eye is something that if it's not right, you'll instantly recognize. We look at eyes all day. It's how we get most of our cues for where people's emotions are. So it makes a lot of sense that this is a really good challenge, and I looked forward to it. Now, handing out the human canvases is a totally double-edged sword, because if you take an easy one for yourself, you're setting yourself up with the judges for them to say, oh, what, you're not confident enough, you don't take a hard canvas, and if you don't do a great job, then they say, well, you got to pick your canvas, and you did this. So you're really setting yourself up for failure, and you're setting other people up for redemption, because they're the ones who get the really, really hard, lousy canvases, and then if they do a good job, the judges say, wow, you didn't even get to pick your canvas. You were assigned this, and you did a great job. So I do not consider this to be a reward at all. But anyway, he goes through and, asks them, where are you going to put it, and what does it look like, what do you want, and where does it go? And he assigns them all out, and everybody does their tattoos. Now, when we come back and we start judging, there's a couple things I want to address. One is that they have the human canvas jury. So the skins get into a group and discuss the tattoos and pick the worst one, and that design will go into the bottom automatically. I'm not a fan of it. They had it last season. I think it ends up just being mean. The human canvases are not in this for $100,000. They're the kind of people who went on to a reality show to get a free tattoo from a stranger. They don't know even what it's going to really be. So they're real, like, what do they get? They get exposure on TV, and I think that kind of lends to them being extra mean. Last season they had one where a gal got a portrait of, like, I think it was her mom or her grandmother, and everyone sat around talking about how awful it was and how old she looked and how wrinkled, and she's like, but that's what she looks like, and someone was crying, and I just thought it was mean, so I don't necessarily enjoy it that much. But they do normally pick one of the worst tattoos. The other new thing this season is that the top design of the day gets to put someone on the bottom, and everyone just freaks out. Oh, this is such a game changer. You can eliminate someone. I don't think so. That's 2 people, and they traditionally put 3 in the bottom, but they didn't explicitly say that. My theory is they're still going to put 3 into the bottom. So the judge will put 1, the human canvas will put 1, and the winner will put 1. This is not like you're not going to be sending home person number 2. Most likely, in every case, the worst design is still going to go home. That is my opinion. I could be wrong, and I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again, but my opinion is that this is not going to really change things. I also think that a lot of times when the pressure is really put on someone, they're going to pick what they think is the worst design. Because you're going to go pick number 2. Do you really think it's going to go home? Do you really think that that's going to go home over whoever the human canvas jury decides? It's not like someone's going to go into the bottom 3 that was, say, number 2 on the challenge, and the judges go, well, we thought it was a really good design, but he's in the bottom now, so I guess we'll send him home. So my prediction, this isn't going to really change the game that much unless people start using it, they start picking someone who's not in the bottom, in which case there'll be all this extra drama, which is really what they're going for. So anyway, neither of those 2 apply. They don't use a human canvas jury, and they don't assign a winner. And I didn't think the designs were so bad that we couldn't assign a winner, but whatever. It was kind of a crazy episode. They go through judging. The one thing I wanted to say about the judging is that I felt that Roland's design was the worst. I really felt that that's who would have gone home. But it doesn't really matter, because as they go through the judging, you're seeing Ashley get more and more worked up. She's crying, she's rubbing her eyes, the whole thing. They get to her, and she's like, I don't want to be here. I'm done. Don't even talk about my tattoo. I don't want to hear it. And she's just having none of it, okay? Not that surprising. She lost it after the Flash challenge, the day after they were done tattooing, she was pitching a fit before they even got in there. Not that surprising. What was surprising is Kyle lost his mind. He screamed at her and, was cussing at her, and the judges look shocked and kind of dumbfounded. And you really are caught off guard when you're on a show like this and someone really does something unexpected. You expect people to maybe talk back to his judges, but to have someone else just lose their mind, you're just like, this is not on our schedule of how this is supposed to go. So when I watched it, I was like, wow, he's really mad. And I was really surprised that, for me, that kind of was like, wow, I can't believe it. And I don't remember him being like that last year, and maybe I just don't remember, but that for me was really surprising. Excuse me. Anyway, she storms off set. And she's in her room, and this is something I did think was funny. So Dave Navarro comes in and sits down next to her and is like, hey, do you want to talk about this? And she's like, no. I just thought that was so funny. I'm not a huge Dave Navarro fan. I don't dislike him. I'm just not a fan. But if he came in and sat down next to me, I would kind of be like, well, this is how I would talk to him. But she's just like, and no thank you. So that kind of cracked me up. I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but it really just tickled me. Anyway, so she packs up her stuff in her eyeball luggage and takes off in her minivan. Anyway, they bring in the people again. Randy's there again. Roland was there, and then the blank spot for Ashley. So that confirmed, 3 people on the bottom. So I really do think I'm right about the way judging is going to go. Anyway, they decide that she was going to go. I don't think that would have happened if she had stayed. I think she would have stayed for another week, but whatever. It wasn't going to get easier, so she might as well have gone. And that is the whole episode. So agree, disagree, hit me up in the comments.